Hello, good morning to you all. Please bear with me while I just check the settings and invite our Facebook audience in. I hope you're all well today. It's a bit warm, which is really nice. I've been away for a few days, so I hadn't realised just how warm England was because I was in beautiful Bonnie, Scotland. So I think if I click this, it should work and we should have an invite sent to our lovely people. So let me know how you're doing today. What's the weather like where you are? Are you roasting hot? Have you got a way of cooling down? Are you staying in and beading? Are you getting all your washing out on the line? I'm going to be making for you today some really lovely necklaces. I'm using these very pretty rose and leaf connectors that I've got. They're like little charms. And I have created 5 completely different looks with them, all using the same amount of components. So in your kits today, you're going to get enough to make 2, so you can make 2 different designs. Of course, you can multi-buy if you want to, and we've got different colours for you to choose from as well. So if, for example, you chose the beautiful pink colourway, but you wanted to do the blue design with it, you can do whatever it is that you want. I'm also going to show you a sneaky little offer that we've got over the weekend on, which is any 5 bags of these lovely mixed glass beads for 20% off. So I'm going to take you over to the website very quickly, and I'm going to show you that before we start making and you get to see the designs. I don't really know what design I'm going to do today. I'm just going to have a little play about. So I'm creating some wrapped loops and then just connecting them to those lovely roses. And you also get to make earrings up as well in your kit, which is very nice. You have a full set, and probably if you wanted, you could squeeze a bracelet out of that. So have a little look and see which one you like. And please, if you do get these kits and you do want to make along, if you do your own design, please share them, because I'd love to see just how many different sets of jewellery we can make with exactly the same components. Because I thought when I got them, I was going to come up with a design, and then I thought, actually, let's be designers together. Let's just have a lovely play and just see what we can come up with. So everyone is slightly different, and you can do what you want with them using the same techniques. Rachel says, "Good morning from a sunny Barrow." Morning to Jan. She said, "It's Natalie and my beading family from an overcast but warm Sudbury." It is a little overcast here, but it's warm, so I've got all the washing on the line and I've got lots more to do. Camille says, "Good morning. Nice and sunny here. How are you?" I'm very, very good, thank you. Yeah, my eye is a little bit sore, so I've not got any makeup on today, so excuse this. Angela says, "Good morning, Natalie. Can't stay too long. Taking my mother-in-law out. Oh, have a lovely day." Jan's bought all of them. Thank you so much, Jan. I really, really appreciate that. You can do whatever you want with this. You're going to get 2, enough to make 2 necklaces in any of the designs, and two pairs of earrings in any of the designs. So I'd love to see what you've done, if you can share it on the handmade group when you get them. Good morning to Anna. Hope you are well. Good morning to Sally. She says, "Hello, Natalie. Morning, and everybody. I hope you're all well from a sunny Torbay." Are they little cats? Have you given me little cats, Sally? All right, let me take you over to the website quickly. I'm going to see if I can share this lovely offer that we've got before I take you over to the kits. So today we've got an offer on the mixed glass beads. This offer is going to run over the weekend. So you can pick any 5 bags of these and you can get 20% off, but they're a really good price anyway. I mean, that's 2 kilograms. And they're sweeping, so they are a mix of all sorts, which is very exciting. I like a bead soup, shall we call it. We've got some gorgeous ancient marble glass for you as well. That's just the name of it. I don't imagine they are very ancient. We've got some bicones. We've got faceted mixed rounds. We've got cat's eye beads. We've got gorgeous crackled earth beads. I really, really love them. I'm hoping there's still some of them left when I get to make some bits and bobs with them. They're really, really pretty. you can see we've got loads of different colours. You've got druzy type ones as well, which are very pretty, faceted ones, rundown mix. There's all sorts of different colours, different types, different sizes. Those glass frosted beads are really pretty as well. And you've also got the glass jade, which have got beautiful shimmer and glitter on them. And then we've got some glass pearl rounds as well for you. I am going to use the glass pearl rounds today. So if you wanted to buy any of these, again, it's any 5 bags for 20% off. You could also get some of the rose and leaf connectors if you wanted to play about with them as well. So you can see here, if you go into the top banner on the website, we've got the rainbow mix too. There's pages and pages and pages of things for you to play about with. Oriental Splash are always very popular, so don't know how long they'll last. The speckled glass, I really like them ones too. So have a little look. Basically, when you first come into Totally Beads, if you need to find that, you can scroll along the banner somewhere here. Is it this one? And that offer will be there for you somewhere. It's over the top. That's how I found it. There we go. We've got any 20% off the crystal rondelles as well. So have a little look at what offers we've got there for you today. We've got a lovely kind of clearance sale, which is always very helpful. I'm going to stop sharing that page. And now I'm going to take you over to the website so you can see your kits today for the Malia Rose jewellery that we've been making. Good morning to Elaine. Hello to Mina. Sally says, yes, I love my cats. I have a big black and white cat called Lord Watson. Love that name. Oh, we've got, I've named him Garfield, really original. He's wandering around at the moment. He's been taking shady solace under my tree in the front garden. He's a big marmalade. He was sitting on the back of table in the back garden as well the other day, just enjoying the sunshine. But I like a cat with a funny name. I used to have a black cat. Well, I've had numerous pets and numerous things, but I've not had a cat for many a year. But my friend is cat mad, so I often make little cat themed bits of jewellery for her as well. Good morning to Anastasia. How are you doing? She's wishing everyone peace and love. And Joanne's in as well. She says, good morning. A beautiful sunny day. It's just warm. Got very warm hands. We came home yesterday and the house was roasting because obviously while we've been away, I closed all the windows and the bedroom was stifling. So I hope you're all keeping cool, and depending on where you are in the world, it might not be warm. Jan says, I've got a big black and white cat called Loki and he lives up to his name. My friend's got one called Callie. She's lovely. Anyway, enough about cats. Let's talk jewellery. No, don't. If you've got a pet, whether it's a dog, a cat, a snake, a budgie, whatever it is, let me know in the comments. What animals, what pets do you have? Mina says, I've got a rule, which is no pets in my house. My pets tend to find me. I never go out of my way to get a pet. They come and find me. That's been the way with the dogs as well that we had. We've had 3 German Shepherds, all not at the same time, ex-police dogs, beautiful dogs. Would never have chose to have a German Shepherd. They just wasn't my bag. I was a little bit timid of them. I'd never had a dog before. And each time we lost one, I was adamant of never getting another one again. And then police would say, well, we've got this one coming up for retirement, and they've all been completely different. And we are missing not having a pet, not having a dog particularly. But I don't know, it's such a big commitment. And you know, I work away a lot. Dave works away, my husband. So it's making sure that, you know, you've got the facilities and the time, not just the love. Camille says, never had cats, but always had dogs since I was 10. Oh, right. Anyway, jewellery. let me take you over to the wonderful website, which is totallyreads.co.uk, and see if I can share our mix for you today. So you've got all those lovely offers there. If you head into the video tutorials, there's lots of different ways to get into it, as you know by now. And these are the Malia rose jewellery sets. So as I say, you're making up 2 necklaces and 2 pairs of earrings in each kit. So they are £8.99 for one kit, but look at all the different things that you can do with them. So we've got lovely colours for you to choose from, but you can do any style you want with these. I've deliberately, I did take loads of pictures because I wanted to show them off, because my earrings are all different, the necklaces were all different. So I just wanted to show you really all the different things that you can do with them. So this one is the grape. It's a lovely kind of purpley colour, and all I've done is I've done my wrapped loops of the pearls, and then I've connected them onto those lovely roses that we've got. The roses are really, really pretty. There's loads of different styles you could do with this, and I've just dangled the little leaves off them as well. They look a bit like feathers. They are classed as leaves. And I've kind of connected them together. So this has kind of got a little bit of, I suppose, dream catcher vibes for me, this style. But in your kit, you're going to get your rose connectors, which are these lovely things here. You're going to get your leaf charms, which are those at the bottom. You're going to get your glass pearl rounds, and if you choose this colourway, you get in the gorgeous grape. And if you scroll down, you can see they're the 6mm in size. You're also getting gold plated chain. So you can see I'm using this lovely oval chain here, and we're using little jump rings as well. They are slightly smaller than what I'd usually use. They are 4 by 0.7. So that is your outer diameter is 4mm, and your wire that's used is a 0.7. So that's kind of like the thickness, the gauge of it. You're going to get, of course, your lobster clasp and your earring hooks in there as well. So lots and lots of things to play with. This one is the lovely grape. But again, don't really pay too much attention to the design. If you think, I love that design, but I don't want the grape, then that's absolutely fine. There are no rules with this. You can choose whatever you want. When I created the green, I didn't put the roses in the green earrings. I just popped the little leaves on the end, and I've popped them one backwards, one forwards to create that little shape that I've got. I used all of my roses. And obviously you're making 2 necklaces, so you're going to get the double the amount. So in each design, I've used 9 rose connectors in total, and I've used 9 feathers and 11 pearls. Some will have more jump rings in than others, but I've asked Simon very nicely to put you loads of jump rings in there. So I put more jump rings down on my product description than I used, because I'm a little bit cheeky and I want to make sure that you get everything you could possibly need to do whatever it is you want to do with that. So with this, I've created those little clusters by linking those roses together. Again, the only technique that I'm using is a wrapped loop, and I'm using the wire for that, which is also included in your kit, which is a 0.6mm. So that one is the lovely green. Again, you can scroll down and see the specifics of those if you need to. These are all on gold colorway, because I'm matching those roses and the leaves. So you're going to get your jump rings and your chain and the wire will all be in a gold, beautiful colour. Have a little look if you want to see more of the details on those as well. You can just click into that. You can buy extra of these if you want. You get 15 pieces for just £1.50. They are lovely kind of cut out shape with them, and they are nickel free. So you can add any extra bits in that you might want to as well. This one is the peach, which I really, really like. So for this one, I kind of made just a normal kind of necklace in the kind of frame of around the neckline by just alternating between those lovely roses and those lovely glass pearls. And then I kind of made a long dangle at the front. So again, depending on the clothing that you're thinking of wearing with these, I think this would look particularly lovely with a plunging neckline or a t-shirt. And you can see, because I've used slightly less of the roses, I popped the roses in the earrings on there as well. You could make a bracelet up with these as well if you wanted to. So you could make your earrings, your necklace and a bracelet. You can do whatever you want. But if you need a little bit of inspiration, then of course you can have a little look and you can copy these designs exactly. This one is the pretty in pink one. I really like the way I put this together. I don't really think that's what I was intending to do when I first started kind of designing them. I just had them all I made all my wrap loops first. And I'm going to show you a technique in doing that so you can use minimal amount of wire as well. So I just created my wrap loops and then I just kind of placed them down on the mat, seeing whereabout I'd like to position those connectors. And obviously you can get them to sit in different ways by how much chain you attach onto this. You're going to get plenty of chain in there as well. So if you wanted, you could add the chain to the earrings. You could do whatever you want. I don't think I've got a photograph there of how the earrings look, but I'm pretty sure it was just chain and some leaves on the bottom of that colourway, but I will show you them all down on the mat as well. So that one is the pretty in pink. It is 6mm glass pearl rounds using that gold oval chain, the rose connectors and your jump rings, and of course your wire too. And lastly, we have the gorgeous sky blue. So these, again, I've just connected alternating between the roses and the glass pearls on the wrap loops, and then I've just dangled some kind of feathery leaves off the bottom. So very summer jewellery, really, really pretty. Do love this colour blue. I'm using the sky blue. And I think they all look gorgeous with the gold. So drop me a comment. Is there a particular colourway design that you like the most of? Have you got an idea of what you would like to do with yours? If you're to get the kits and do the same. And I'm just going to stop sharing that and I'll read back into the comments and see what I've missed. Angela says, I've got a small black dog called Kimmy and a black and white cat called Minnie. Both are daft. Good morning to my mum. I hope you're well. I hope my little one is behaving himself. Thank you so much for having him for me today. Good morning to Rachel. She says, I grew up with pet dogs and cats. My parents bred Shetland sheepdogs. I don't have a pet now. Oh, seen a sign for sheepdogs for sale while I was on my travels and was like, ooh, ooh. I did fall in love with a beautiful dog. He was, what was he? Oh, it's gone out my head. A Bernese mountain dog. He was massive. He was absolutely gorgeous. His head was about this big and he was just fluff. Good morning to Carol. Good morning to Lisa. Good morning to Sheila. Jan's asking, does it have to be wrap loops? No, it doesn't. You could use ready-made eye pins with this if you wanted to. You could just turn a loop and use the wire to make your kind of eye pins if you wanted to. I like to do a wrap loop because I feel like they are really, really sturdy, but you are connecting them together, or I've connected them together with the jump rings anyway. So you could make wrap loops that loop on together if you wished, or you don't have to do a wrap loop. You do whatever you want with this, Jan. I'm just giving you all the materials for all the possibilities. You could do whatever you want. Mina's saying hello to Kath. Good morning to Francis. Anastasia's saying, leave that dog if you don't have time for it in your life. I know. Says, my husband got a dog and I have to take care of it because he has to take care of it because I have allergic reaction if I touch it. Some people are very sensitive to them, aren't they? We will have time at some point, I'm sure, but at the moment it's just not the right time. I'll just look after my friends and my families instead. They're just, it's nothing quite like having a pet in your life. If you like animals, not everybody does. Angela says, they're lovely. These components will be handy for any piece. I'm busy making a beaded jet for my son-in-law, who's At Beaded Jet, oh my gosh, my son-in-law who's in the RAF, that sounds amazing. Angela, please share that. Wouldn't even know where to begin. Joanne says, I miss having cats and dogs. The last pet I had was a border collie. She chose me. She was awesome, full of energy and beautiful temperament. She was my familiar, yeah. But there's just nothing quite like the love of an animal, really, because, you know, they're always there. You don't argue with them. They're just sweet, and border collies got loads of energy, but love them. Tina says, hello, hope all is well. Brian's in as well, wishing everybody a wonderful day. Anastasia's saying, are the roses separate or are they together? And I've done an awesome job because the basket's halfway full. Anastasia, you get everything in your kit to make 2. All the roses, all the pearls, the wire, the jump rings, and the chain, and the earring hooks. So you make 2 necklaces in any design, and you can make 2 pairs of earrings as well, whatever you like to do. Joanne is in as well, so she really likes the look of these, giving in 1900s, 1930s vibes. Good morning to Jackie. Camille is counting how many pooches she's had. She thinks she's had 12. Oh my gosh. Celia's in as well. She's saying she might have to treat herself for a birthday. Happy birthday, Celia, whether it's today or coming up soon, or even if it's next year, just treat yourself, Celia. Mina's in as well. She says she's making lots of necklaces with charms for Pride, and she's going to take pictures and post. Right, let me take you down on the mat. And so I don't really know what I'm making today. I'm just going to have a little play and see what design occurs. So, Pretty in Pink. You can see all I've done there is just connecting them together to make that lovely kind of dangly focal drop. I've got, let's put some to the side so you can see on my mat. I've got the gorgeous green. I really like the way they've been placed together, if I do say so myself. Then all I've done is just, you'll see there's these lovely kind of cut out hollow parts to these roses. So you might want to consider which way round you're putting them on. You know, if I'm making earrings and the earrings are to be symmetrical, then I've kind of thought, right, well, I want them in that little hole at the bottom. And your jump rings will fit round and fit into these with the wire as well. In fact, what I'll do is I'll show you the necklace and I'll show you the earrings I made for each one, so you can see they've all got exactly the same amount of the same components in them. So while this is lying flat, it has moved a little bit, but it does sit nicely when it's on. So I've just placed those together, and because I've used all of my roses, but of course you're getting enough to make 2, so you might want to add less to one design and then you've got even more to play with. I've just put the leaves at the bottom, and I really like the fact that they're not fixed and they dangle. So that one is the green colourway for you. Let me show you the pink one again. And I think the pink was with these, so I didn't put any of the pearls and I didn't put any of the roses in these. I've just used the chain, and the chain's a really good size as well. I've not even attached the jump rings to this one. I've just directly put them on the chain. So that's the kind of look I was going for with those ones. Brian, I don't know, we might have silver roses on the website, but I've not put any kits together with the silver. And that might be because the leaves were just in gold, but have a little look. I'll try and find some for you. I'm sure we had one in silver, whether it was the leaves or whether it was the roses. I think it may have been the roses. Good morning to Esther. She's got no grandma duties today, just beading, so have a lovely day. This one is your kind of grapey purple colourway. So I've put them together like that. These leaves here are attached at the top and the bottom, and that's because you've got a little connector at the top, but also a hole at the bottom. So you've got those lovely kind of cut out shapes, so you can attach them in any which way you fancy. This one's gorgeous. I'm going to probably demo today using these pearls, though if you wanted to multi-buy, of course you can mix your colours. Let me flip that the right way round. So I've just dangled my leaves off the bottom here. and I've just put those gorgeous glass pearls in between, and the glass pearls I've used here are the kind of peachy coloured ones, and the earrings I've done for this colourway, again just connecting that little wrap loop and using all of those components. They do look much better on than flat on the desk. And then I've got this gorgeous blue one, which I think may have been my first design. I think I may have done this one first. So just connecting them all the way. I've just put the chain on around the back, so the back of the neck, this one's quite long, you don't have to use that much chain, and that will make it sit higher up. Little lobster clasp on there for you, little jump ring to attach, take on and off. And the earrings I made for that one are like so. So lots of things that you can do, lots of things to play around with. In each of these designs, obviously some of the necklaces had more roses in because I wasn't using them on the earrings, but I used 9 rose connectors, which look like this. I used 9 of the feathers and 11 of the pearls. So I'm going to show you how I did my wrapped loops. It is a nice way of making sure you're not using loads of your wire, and you can be quite frugal with it. So I'm just going to get my tools out. I can straighten that end, but I think I'm just going to trim it off, to be honest. So I'm using the 0.6mm wire. It is copper, but it's coloured in, well, in this case, it's coloured in a lovely gold colour, and it is like a protected kind of finish to it, so your colour should stay true. And I've used this gauge of wire because I find it's really quite easy to shape and to work with and to kind of mould, but also you've got that, you know, malleability, so it's nice and soft and easy to use, but it's also very strong as well. And when you create a wrapped loop, you're creating a fixed loop on either side. So of course, in this case, we are attaching it to the jump rings and those rose connectors, but you'll see that my little connections in the middle are very sturdy and very strong. So all I did, just to save myself like measuring out the wire, I reckon you probably need about 10 centimeters at the absolute most for each pearl. But what I like to do is I like to thread on the pearls that I'm making with, and I just pop them onto the wire itself. I'll just do a few for now. So this way I can be really kind of frugal really with it. I'm not wasting stuff. Esther says, good morning from a seriously lovely Preston. Camille's in saying she's been watching Valhalla and the necklaces remind me of the ones in the series. I've not seen that. I think my husband probably has. Okay, so I'm taking the tip of my wire and I'm probably taking a couple of centimetres, maybe 2 centimetres, and my round nose. Now, if you want, you can use your bail step pliers, but trusty round nose I find are the easiest. I'm going to take my wire in between both of the plier parts, and I'm going to choose how big I want my loop. So I'm just going to bend it over my pliers so it's like this, and then I'm going to reposition so my pliers are above and below that wire there, and then I'm going to bring the wire all the way round, reposition my hand again so I can get my loop like this. So the loop's going all the way across. If I take it out, it's fairly straight. So you can see that loop is sitting on top of the wire, and it's like a little scarf. So I'm just going to pop that in. I'm then going to swap over hands. So what I want is my less dominant hand, in my case it's my left, to be holding onto that plier. And because the wire is lovely, you can use your fingers, but use your tools because that's what they're there for. But what I'm doing is I'm just knocking it up slightly. So put that, so it's not going right across, it's just going up a tiny, tiny bit. Just told you to use your tools, so that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to bring it round into a kind of half wrap, and then wrap again over the top. And when I've pushed that wire up, what it does is it just makes sure that my first wrap is sitting nice and close to that loop. And I like to wrap around 3 times. So I'm just doing in little half turns. If you need to, you can push that wire up just to make sure those wraps are sitting nice and flush underneath each other. And you can also adjust. So what I've done here is I've slightly moved that off kilter so it's not fully central. If I just pop my plier back in, I can reposition that. So I've got this little tail end now after that third wrap. I'm going to come in with my cutters and I'm going to cut it nice and close. And then what I'm going to do is, just to give myself a little bit of grip and a little bit of purchase, I'm going to pop my round nose pliers back in, and then I'm going to take my chain nose and I'm just going to tuck that little tail end of the wire fully in. Again, if you want to reposition it, you can just give it a little squish, and you can make sure that those wraps are sitting nice and neatly next to each other and they're not overlapping. Hello to Quiet Space Arts, who's in Orkney Island. Mina says these rose connectors will make gorgeous Victorian earrings. So I've got my wire with my loop on, and then just slide up my first bead. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is just so I know exactly, how much wire I need. I don't need to be cutting it off and things like that when I don't need it. So I'm going to push my bead up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just check how big my loop was. So I'm just going to look at it. You can mark it with a pen, your pliers if you want to. But to make the same size loop, I'm just going to wrap this next one over around that point. So I'm going to position it down at that point. So it's right up close to the bead. And then I'm going to bend it over the top here. And the space that I've got, that I've made now from where my pliers are, that's going to be where I'm going to fit in my 3 wraps again. So I'll just pop my pliers back in. I'm going to bring the wire over the top of this part of my plier, reposition with my hand, and then just adjust if I need to, make sure that that's sitting nice and neatly on the top. And then I'm going to wrap. So I'm just going to fill the space between that little loop here and the bead. So I like to make it even and have 3 wraps on each side, but if you need to add that extra one, you can do. So it's looking like this. And then all I need to do is trim off. So I've cut it off from the reel, cutting it nice and close. I'm going to pop my round nose back in, and then just make sure that little tail end of the wire is fully pushed down. And that is my first wrapped loop. Now, usually if you're making rosary linked beads, so I'm not connecting it with the jump ring, I'm just connecting onto that one. When I make my next wrapped loop, I would be attaching it on before I turn that loop. So I would be doing as I did before, leaving a couple of centimetres, taking that around my pliers. And before I wrapped it, what I would do is I would slide it through, and then I would continue to wrap. So what you could do is you could hold that loop across with your pliers to make sure it doesn't move out of position, and then wrap that loop. I'm going to connect mine on to the rose connectors or to each other using the jump ring, so I don't need to attach my last one on. I don't have to worry about that. But all I would do to connect it on, if I was just slightly lift the loop that I've made so I can get that slid into position. So you don't have to be overly precise and overly neat with this, but you will find the more you do, the more practiced you become with it, the neater they will get. And you can do 2 wraps if you want to. I'll do this one with 2 wraps. But what you want to make sure really is that you've got the same amount of wraps on each one. So I'm not cutting off there. I'm just making that small little loop. And then I slide up my next bead. Again, just have a little look where my round nose sits inside of that loop. Bend it over so you've got space between the bead and the wrap. Reposition the pliers. I'm kind of going upside down here, just under the camera. Bring that round, and I'm just going to wrap that tail end around between the bead and the loop. Trim off and tuck in. So this way I'm not wasting any of that wire. If you want to, you can. If you don't want to work off the reel, I'll show you how that works. It's exactly the same. So I'll probably take about, I'll measure it specifically. Say if I take about 10 centimeters, I'm going to end up with too much here. But what I would do is I've just got one little tail end, and it's a good way of, making most of little bits of wire you might have. I'm still going to leave it, so I've got a couple of centimeters up from the end. I only want really a small loop, so I'm bringing it towards the kind of tapered end of the round nose pliers, bringing it all the way round. So I've created that little loop, so I look a little bit like a lollipop. And then going to take the tail end. I was doing this with my fingers because the wire is lovely and soft to use. Don't get yourself in a tangle with it, just do your little half wraps. I like the look of 3. It doesn't really matter, they are going to be nice and sturdy. Trim off nice and close. Pop your hand over that excess bit of wire so it doesn't fly away. Make sure you tuck that end in. So I'm just moving my pliers around that wire. Sometimes I'll flip it over. I'll run my finger very gently across it just to make sure it's sticking right down, because if there's a little bit that's sticking up, it can, scratch your skin. Anastasia says, Natalie, thank you for sharing this. I've never seen wrap loops done like this. It's much easier this way. There's lots of different techniques to get exactly the same, or lots of different methods rather to get the same technique. So you just do what works for you. But you can see I've got loads of wire there. I'm not going to need 10 centimeters per pearl. Not with a 6mm round, but again, you could change it up if you wanted to bring the wire around. You could wrap some over that bead as well. So I'm positioning my round nose pliers into that kind of horizontal position, moving them so they are vertically above and below the wire. I'm only doing that just so I can bring that round, reposition the pliers so the pliers are staying inside where I want that loop to turn. I'm just moving and swapping hands just so I can get it in the right position. Lifting it up a little bit, and that's just making sure when I bring that wire round, you'll see it's sitting nice and close to that loop. So I'm wrapping once, bringing the wire underneath that last wrap, twice, and then the third wrap will just nicely fit the space between the pearl and the loop. and they look pretty perfect in terms of, you know, the size of this loop here and the size of that loop there. But it is quite forgiving. Don't think anyone's going to be, well, maybe someone will be that close to you that they'll say that loop's slightly larger than the other. Again, trimming off and making sure I'm tucking in, just putting the pressure on the wire, not the glass pearl. So you can see I can make as many of those as you want. I'll make a couple more. It can be a little bit more fiddly, I suppose, holding it on to the, keeping it on the reel, but then this way I just, you know, I'm not having leftover wire, which is what I've had left over there from when I've done those that 10cm cut. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to cut too small either. So I just think if you've got it all on one length, it's just an easier way of making sure you've got all the wire you need and you're not wasting any. So 3 wraps. Only trimming off that much. So that's not even a centimetre, a couple of millimetres. You can decorate as well if you want to use that extra bit of wire to do the front of your pearls. I'll show you how to do that too. So I'm just making sure that wire's fairly straight, pushing that pearl right up to that loop, popping my other one in, bending over and around, swapping hands, give it a little lift up. I'm going to just show you how easy it is to do this with your fingers. You will get neater using your tools though, I think. But you can see just by winding that round, the wire is lovely and soft. Trimming off close, popping back in, and making sure it's tucked in. So in that wrapped loop, I think that's the amount of wire that was wasted. Thanks, Camille. So I'm going to just make the beads for as many as I want in my design, really. I'll show you how to do a decorated one. I've usually used about 11 pearls in each design, and that's including my earrings too. So if I was to do a little decorative pearl, I'm wrapping round. Half wraps, just to make sure it's nice and neat and I've got lots of control over that. Trimming off. I pop my round nose back in just to give myself something to grip onto when I tuck that little end in. Slide my pearl up my wire. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the wrap loop on the opposite side. Just make sure that's centered. Swap over so hopefully you can see okay under the camera. I'm going to wrap my 3 wraps in between that space, and then I'm going to take a little bit extra and I could cross over the front like that, around the neck, and then another 3 wraps or 2, whatever, and then trim off. So you can add extra little bits of detail as well if you want to. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to just have a little think about how I would like to position my roses and my pearls. So I will get them out, and I would just have a little look as well at my petals, so to speak. So they are the same, but you'll see there's different spacing on different sides of them. So I might think if I position it that way, I've got lots of space to attach my jump rings through those kind of half moon kind of shapes. You don't have to have them all the same way round, but it's up to you, especially if you're doing your earrings. You might want them like perfectly symmetrical, so you might want to line them up a little bit first. I might dangle that one because it's different off the middle, and then all I'm going to do is connect them with my jump rings. So let's say you've got plenty of jump rings in your kit. It's outer diameter 4 by 0.7. And we're just opening the jump ring exactly the same as we usually would. I'm taking plenty of surface area, and I'm just giving it a little twist towards me to open it up. I can slide on my pearl, and then I can slide it onto my rose. And then I'm just going to bring it away from me to close. Now I want to make sure that I'm closing that perfectly. That is not quite perfect. It's a tiny bit staggered. So I'm just going to give it a little adjustment. And then it's just a case of position them on together in whatever design that you've chosen. And because you've got all of those kind of like negative spaces in between your petals, you can play around with the design. You can dangle your leaves from various points and do whatever you please. So I'm just gonna open up my jump ring, little twist towards me, attach on my rose and my pearl. You don't have to do the wrap loops if you don't want to. If you want to make your, like, just open a connector, you can use your wire for that, or if you've got any eye pins in your stash, you can use them. Just making sure that when I'm attaching it, it's fairly central. So I'm attaching on both sides, and my rose is sitting fairly even in the middle. And because I've made that wrap loop on both sides, I'm giving myself that kind of double connector, so I can connect something off either side to it, and I can attach my chain. This might make a sweet little bracelet, actually. Just closing up that jump ring. Okay. So if I was having it as a bracelet, you could just do something as simple as that. Now, I like to work in odd numbers. I think it's just more visually, aesthetically pleasing. So I'm just going to use the 3 roses for now. I'm going to use that loop at the bottom to attach on my pearl, which has been a little bit extra decorated with that wire. So that will dangle off the middle. And then because I've made that double connector, I'm going to attach some of my lovely leaves on as well. Now, your leaves do tend to have a front and a back to them. They look extremely similar, but I would say that would be the front and that would be the back. So you can see if I want to get, when I position them on, sometimes I might have them kind of one way, so it's tapered in slightly at one end and the other, and then I might pop two on. They will go the same way, so I tend to put one back and one front, and I could attach them like that. So I think I'm definitely going to attach some on the bottom. You could also add some chain onto these because you've got plenty of chain in your kit as well. So I'm going to slide them on. You'll see they've got little holes, like loops at the top, which make them very easy to connect to your jump ring, and also very pretty because they dangle and they've got a lot of lovely movement to them. And I think the chain is just an extension of that movement as well. So close that up. You want to make sure that your jump ring is fully closed, because of course the leaves are very thin. But was it Camille who gave us the tip of popping a little bit of glue on clear nail varnish on your jump ring to seal it up perfectly? So I'm just again playing around with the design there on what I want to do with it. And then I would probably just attach on my chain and have a little play. I've still got loads and loads of roses and things. In terms of your chain, you've got this lovely oval chain, and you'll see the links on this are quite a good size too. So if you wanted to make your earrings with the chain as well, you're going to get loads, so you can do. So here I've just connected 3 pieces and I've just put that directly onto the earring hook that's going to be in my kit. But you could add jump rings to it as well. You could add maybe a little pearl off the central one. All I've done there is made that little central chain like a link or two longer, so it sits longer. But you could maybe add your little pearls on to maybe just the center one and have your leaf dangling off. That might be really pretty. You've got your lobster clasps. I think it's 10mm lobster clasp, so small and dainty, but will fit really good in size. That's inside of that small jump ring when you're making that opening on the back of your necklace, just there. And then we've also got the earring hooks in your kit. So to open those up, I'm just going to do it like a jump ring, give it a little flick up, add whatever it is I want to add on to it, whether it be the chain or the leaves or the roses. And you can see they just fit on really nice. So I'm going to take you quickly back onto the website again, so you can just have a quick refresh of some of the design ideas that I've done. So in the grape, I've connected them together like this. Again, all I've done there is just add in those pearls on those wrap loops and just finding a little space within that rose to kind of connect it to each other. So that one is your grape colourway. You've got your green, which I've just added together the roses directly, so they are just attached with the little jump rings, so they sit nicely. And then I've created little layers with that, with those feathery leaves too. I've got the peach colourway, which I've made as more of a central drop going through the middle. So like a little chain, looks a bit like, I don't know, this reminds me of like Titania, Queen of the Fairies from Midsummer Night's Dream. the possibilities are endless with it. It was a lot of fun to play with. There's loads of things that you can do. I can't remember what I was originally going to do with this, but it turned out different and I liked it, so I kept it. But you can see just by playing around with them on your mat, there's loads of different design ideas that you can do to kind of piece them together, which I think is lovely. The fact that we all get to make whatever we want to suit our preferences. And this one is the gorgeous sky blue. So each of your kits are £8.99. It will make up 2 necklaces and 2 pairs of earrings in any design that you choose. So you could make one like this one, you could make one like that one, you could do 2 of these, you could do something completely different. It's entirely up to you. So thank you so much for being with me today. Judith says, lovely. She's going to watch later because she missed the beginning. Camille saying to Mina, fashion jewellery never goes out of fashion. Thanks, Camille. She gave me a thumbs up and a heart. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, we have got that offer on as well for the weekend. So it's mixed glass beads. I think there's one on the crystals too. Any 5 bags you can get 20% off. And you know, if you go into a festival, there's all sorts you could do with them. They're really, really pretty. I think they'd make really lovely brooches, lovely earrings. Gorgeous. So have a lovely weekend. I don't know what day we're on. I'm all out of sync. It's Friday today, isn't it? So I'm going to be back with you on Monday. I'm going to be doing some macrame bracelets, I think, with you on Monday. I did think I was doing that today, but I got confused. But I'm pretty sure that Monday I'm doing some macrame bracelets. So you can come and join me at 10 a.m. UK time for that. I'll look